Yo, what's poppin' peeps? You got your boy Nandra here. Welcome to another video. So this video is going to be the third installment of my card review for the mini set. So this video will be covering Haven, Portal, and Neutral. Yeah. To finish off the trilogy, the young trilogy of the card review. Anyway, so let me quickly get over to the cards. So, alright, first one is that we're going to start off with is Tutankhamun. So this one is Halocraft Legendary. Now this one is one of the other ones I mentioned before that has probably like the biggest controversy going into this, just because the no flame to the English translation team, but they did not do a good job with this. Anyway, so this card is a 6 mana 6/4, evolves into 8/6. Its last words: if this Waller's defense was at least 2 before it died, summon a Tutankhamun and then set its defense to 1, and then doesn't have any like text when it's evolved. So I like but dislike this card for a number of reasons. But let's go ahead and just talk about the effect by itself. So right off the bat, you'll notice that there's a new keyword. Like, it uses set as a keyword here. Now, similar effects like say Wood King Curse and Black Dress, they get from Fashionista and Ultra. They both say change to 1. For things like say Jerva again, like he just says, or rather the way he's coded is that, oh, if your HP was above 10, put it to 10. If your HP was below 10, keep it where it is. Things like that. But now with this guy, you see his keyword be set to 1. Now, now at the moment, no one really knows what this means. Like, as to whether or not you can either heal this card up, which is the best case scenario that everyone wants to have happen, or if it just like has like a one-time revival clause and that's like it. But I'm pretty sure, given the way that say something like say Snow White was worded, that I'm pretty sure you can heal this guy. So what this means is that you have another sort of like semi-unkillable Juggernaut for Havencraft, which is kind of cool. That's like kind of like it's like a sub-mechanic sort of thing for them, and they have like. And they just have like they have like units that like kind of are very, very hard to kill, like say Aegis, like say the one Haven Gold that's like a 3/3 whose name I always forget because I never use the card. But yeah, things like that. And that's like kind of cool, just because like this gives a valuable target to like want to heal. Like for example, this gives some, I say some, but it's like sketch, but it gives some viability to say things like say Tinker Shrine. But on its own, this card is more than good. This card's pretty amazing. Like, certain things of this card that you want to like remember is that, one, you can pull this off of Aether. That makes your Aether even better than it already is, and it kind of feeds into like say things like say Jean, Beacon of Salvation, things like that. 2, Jean, Beacon of Salvation. If you play this card on 6, your opponent doesn't fully clear it, and then you just Jean, Beacon of Salvation. Well, now they have to kill all over again, and then you probably just like put them into like a loop of just like pain and despair and things like that, and that's a very, very big deal. I definitely think that this card will see play. Well, sorry, let me clarify again. Like, if this card works the way that I believe that it works, I definitely expect this card to see play. If it does not work that way, I guarantee you a lot of people are going to be very, very disappointed, and they're probably just like not going to try the card out of spite and disappointment. That being said, though, like what it does for both existing Haven archetypes as well as future Haven archetypes is that, 1, this is a card that you probably will not play in Summit Temple, and that's amazing, because at the moment, a big thing is that Summit Temple is kind of like the defining archetype of Haven at the moment. So naturally, if Summit Temple is not doing well, that means that Haven as a whole is also not doing well. But this guy is good enough that I think you can play it in other things, such like say a good stuff type Haven deck that plays all of like the other good cards that are in Haven that don't also fit into Summit Temple. Like for example, Judge of Retribution, Dark Jean, what else? Mainly those 2 cards, which I know are also 6 shops as well. But yeah, like the good stuff type Haven decks, whatever, they also do work, but like they're kind of like unsung heroes, just because like not as flashy and to the point as a Summit Temple, because like at the moment there's not really anything quite as flashy as just say jamming a Genesis Knight into your opponent's space and be like ha 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 and things like that. Bam. So yeah, at the moment, definitely expect this card to see play. I definitely expect this card to see play going into the future, just because like if you can heal this card to which Haven does actually have like a number of good healing options. Yeah, this makes this card like pretty good. Like for example, one card that you might consider playing with this card is Ariette. Now that's a really sketch option, but it's definitely a thing you can do. Like if I still manage to meet people who are playing Ariette and Dragon, I guarantee you'll definitely see people who are playing Ariette with this card, and that makes it kind of cool in my opinion. Next card is White Fang Temple. So a really funny thing was that I don't like I forgot who it was that leaked this, but like someone like leaked like some like data mined info that they found that led us to believe that that we were gonna get like a Themis reprint. Unfortunately, we did not get Themis reprint, but you know, never say never or something like that, you know. But here we are with White Fang Temple. So White Fang Temple is actually really cool in my opinion. So it's a 3-mana countdown 8 amulet. Bear in mind that this is actually the largest of countdown amulets we've seen in the game. The next largest is countdown 6, and I believe after that is countdown 4. So this card is again 3 mana. At the end of your turn, restore 1 defense to your leader. Whenever an effect restores defense to an ally, subtract 1 from this from this amulet's countdown, and then last word, summon a Holy Winged Dragon. So this card is really cool in my opinion because it does a lot of very interesting things. 1, you can play this in decks that also play Dark Hind. That's really cool because you get to use it. You get to use it as sort of like a lingering activation for your Dark Hind in decks that are not playing Summit Temple, and that's a big thing. Because again, like you want to try to like wean yourself off that archetype because again, if the archetype's not good, then that's the only deck that's viable. Then, yikes. But again, this one does something kind of interesting. The other thing I like about this card is that you can actually play it with what's it called? You can play it with Heresy's Avatar, which is kind of cool. Like I know a lot of people have not heard that name in a while, but yeah, Heresy's Avatar, that's kind of cool for that. You can also play it in Tenkar's Shrine. In Tenkar's Shrine, it like you'll probably get off multiple activations of this. Now, I know the countdown 8 looks intimidating to a lot of people, but you have to remember that this amulet it procs off of itself. So in reality, that countdown 8 is actually more of a countdown 4. Just because natural countdowns from just your turn starting, as well as like during your end of your turn when you get the heal from this card, then you go ahead and you get another countdown. So like basically each turn you get 2 countdowns for free. Of course, barring anything else like such as you healing it or just accelerating this in any way, shape, or form. Now, one thing that is a big deal about this card is that like the cost. 3 mana is not how much mana you want to spend for your amulets, and that is something that definitely hurts this card. Now, granted, it makes sense why it's 3 mana, but it's definitely something that like hurts the card. Just because there are other amulets that see play in Haven right now, like for example, the Holy Winged Descent, or at least I think that's called. I think that's what the one is called. Like the basic amulet that summons the Holy Winged Dragon or whatever. Like you see things like that. You see a few more, but not really that many expensive amulets because like generally for your amulets, like unless it does something when it comes out into play, like for example Marchers Tea Time, or unless it just costs like a cheap amount of mana, such as like Gemstone Carapace, then like you generally try to steer clear of it. So that does hurt some of the viability of this card. But that being said, this card is really cool, honestly. Like I definitely like the flavor that's like attached to this card. I don't at the moment think this card will see play, but it's definitely probably one I would probably maybe keep an eye on, possibly. But Alright, so on to the Portalcraft cards. So the Portalcraft cards are honestly the ones that got like the biggest scrutiny going into this, I think. Just because, like, you know, Portalcraft is still like the new kid on the block, and any tools that they get, like, they end up like a little bit under a microscope, just because like what a lot of people wanted for this is that they wanted the legendary for Portalcraft to be a puppet related, to be like a puppet related legendary, just because like I think it's like four of the current legendaries for like for like Portalcraft at the moment, they're all more or less like archetype related. Like for example, that which erases, Machina, Spinaria, Magna Legacy, yeah, like, and that kind of hurts. And yet here we are with another Portalcraft legendary that's more or less probably going to end up in just Artifact Portal. Now let me talk about the card. So this one is Electromagical Rhino. So this card is actually a card that I like a lot personally, but I know not a lot of people like, and that's fine. So this one is a 7 mana 0/7. Yes, I just said 0/7. Evolves into a 2/9, and its effects are Rush, and then gain plus X plus 0. Sorry, Fanfare, gain plus X plus 0. X equals the number of remaining artifacts in your deck, and then whenever this follower attacks, put 3 artifact rhinos into your deck. So right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you right now that like I both like and did not like at the same time that the gain X plus 0 was a fanfare. I kind of wanted it to be an aura, because if it's an aura, you can like better just like track the number of like artifacts in your deck. But you know, being a fanfare is like fine-ish, I guess. But I did kind of want this thing to just like, you know, be like a 3/7, like regardless of what was like going on for you, just by like being able to attack with it. But that's fine. So electrical what's it called? So whenever it attacks, you put 3 artifact rhinos into your deck. So the artifact rhinos, they're basically, one second, I think it's like here. Yeah, they're basically like the same thing as this guy, except they're different. Well, they're different in that like they have a keyword that's relevant, and that they have the trait of being artifacts, whereas like the initial guy does not have that trait. So that actually does come into play with this like card evaluation. So this card is a card that essentially, when you play one of this, you basically have the as long as you keep playing more of this, you will never ever deck out unless you do something very silly. That's kind of cool. Now, one thing that does hurt this card is that this card costs a lot of mana to play. So even if you have Machina and Accelerating out, unless you have multiple Acceleratiums, most times the best thing that they can like get this thing down to is being a 5 mana card. Now, 5 mana is still, you know, it's still a rather expensive amount in Portalcraft. However, that being said, like for the kind of effect that this guy gives you, that's pretty good in my opinion. Except for you only really need to play 1. But now the biggest thing about this is that like I know some people were like, oh, well, all right. So if you dilute this, so if you like dilute your decks with the artifact randos or whatever, does that mean you're gonna like dilute your pools? But this is the beauty of the card. The initial body doesn't have the artifact like tagline to it, which means that like again you only need to play 1. So in games where like don't want this card, you don't have to play it. Like you just like play 1 and you just like dig for it. Now, that being said, at the moment I can't really foresee like any games in which you'd like be like hard pressed to like play this. Like for example, like off the top of my head, I think this card would maybe only be good versus like say Forest, just because Brambles is a real like issue for you. But even then, I don't know if that's like good enough to get you to the point where you can just like ignore the Brambles entirely, because again, this card is not cheap to cast at all. And you have to like wait till you get to 10 mana so you can like play like multiple of them per turn. To play multiple of them per turn by themselves. Like there's like barring like, you know, like any like silly shenanigans that happens with like you having like multiple one cost artifacts, and then also like Excel and then Machina both active, so you can like possibly play the 3 of them in the same turn, which is certainly a doable thing. But what else did I want to say about this card? Alright, yeah, so like for me personally, like I definitely think I'll like try it out, just because like the art looks cool, the name of the card is also pretty cool, and also just because like for me personally, like this card kind of reminds me a little bit of a more like of like Elixir of Immortality from like MTG, sort of, but not quite. Like rather, there's like comparisons basically that I'm like making there, and that like again, you don't deck out, and then like this way you always have like impactful things. Well, impactful-ish things to play, because again, like 7 HP is a lot of HP, and also having Rush, which is a very relevant keyword. Now, one thing that I like about this is that like in games where you somehow, for whatever reason, either don't get to make that many ancient artifacts, well, you have this guy to rely on as well. Like because like again, this card and as well as the tokens that they make, they don't need the Acceleratum to have Rush. They just automatically have Rush by themselves. So if you're in a situation where you just want to like beat down your opponent by playing multiple big dudes all at once, and just, you know, basically have like essentially what are closer to basically Saphiras, that's really cool. And that does like a lot of work. Like it gives Artifact Portal a different dimension should they choose to like aim for this game plan. Because like remember when Artifact Portal first got revealed, a lot of people were like, oh, well, go for the Saphira game plan. The Saphira game plan is like, you know, like the best game plan. but then like midway into that set, we realized that, oh, go for Radiant Artifacts. Radiant Artifacts are the best game plan. But yet a set later, here we are. Oh, go back to the Saphira game plan. So at the moment, like, this card to me is in a lot of ways a better Saphira, just because like you can place a lot sooner than 10, and you can also go ahead and impact the board, and you won't feel bad about it because you have more of these in the deck, and that's kind of cool. So again, I definitely expect this card to see play. I'll definitely be trying it myself once we get the cards. And yeah. Alright, so next card is Heartless Duel, and then this one is the Choose card. Choose, summon either a Lloyd the Android or a Victoria. Put a pup and also put a pup into your hand. And then enhance 7, give whichever follower you summoned +0, +3, and Bane. So this card to me is like insane. Well, okay, so it's insane, but also like not insane at the same time. yeah, sure, I just said that. Okay, so Lloyd the Android, if you guys don't know, it's the second choose option, or sorry, it's the first choose option off of Orcus, which is a, let's see, he's a 1/4, yeah, he's like a 3-mana 1/4, something like that. And then if your opponent can choose a target, they must always target him. Now this card is kind of cool, or sorry, Lloyd the Android is kind of cool, but like paying 5 mana for it, well, slightly less cool, but I guess it beats paying 8 mana for it, sort of. Now, the other option is Victoria. I'm pretty sure people will more likely know what Victoria does. Victoria is I think she's like a 7-mana 3/1. Yeah, 7-mana 3/1, and then she basically has like the equivalent of what's known as like First Strike, sort of. And then she can just like attack, and if she would kill the creature immediately, she doesn't take any damage. And then if she wouldn't kill the creature, then you like proceed to do battle normally, and then she just does 6 damage to a creature and then dies herself. So for this card, when I was thinking about this card, I had to think about a lot of things. Like, for example, one, how often is a 3/1 on your turn 5 going to be relevant? I don't know. Like it's one of those, it can kill anything, right? But it dies in the process, so you have to wonder, is that really even worth? For Lloyd the Android, again, like, is that even worth me playing it? And to be honest with you, even though I like this card a lot, I don't think the answer is yes, at least not at the moment. Because this card, like, you'll probably only want to play it when you're ahead, like, isn't like you have like something that's like worthwhile for you to protect. But at the moment, there's not really anything in Portalcraft that's like not, you know, disposable. Like for example, like Saphira. Okay, well, you play Saphira when you just like want to kill your opponent, so that doesn't really count. What else? Magna Legacy. Magna Legacy just like comes down, wipes the board, and like most times, like, you don't really care if he stays alive or not because you have like more things to do. Spinaria, again, she's actually a 5-drop, so she comes out on the turn where you want to play this card in the first place, right? Let's see. And then lastly, Orcus, who can make this herself and then like cost 8 mana and can also do other things. So yeah, like at the moment, like not really feeling it for this card. Although one thing I did like about this card is that the enhanced 7 is like really, really cool to me. Because if you make an enhanced 7 Lloyd the Android that your opponent can only attack and they can't even try to like burn it out. Sorry, they can't even try to like burn you out above it, just because you just like because like it redirects everything all to him, and then they can't even make trades properly either because he's a 1/7 that has Bane and just like kills all of your opponent's stuff and is really, really tanky. That's kind of cute. Yeah, that's kind of cute to me. Like, so I definitely think this will be a strong take 2 card, but for constructed, not really feeling it, not at the moment. But it's definitely a card that I personally like. And then lastly, going on to the neutral, Oceanus. So Oceanus is a 4-mana 3/4 velocity 5/6, and it's spam for choose. Put either a Ruthful Droplet or a Ruthless Water Spout into your hand. Oh my god, I can feel the tongue twisters coming when I try to say this on stream. Anyway, so the first one, Droplet. Okay, yeah, nope, just gonna call it Droplet and Water Spout from now on. Anyway, so Droplet is a 1-mana restore 2 defense from an ally. Because it said ally, that means you can in fact heal yourself. Oops, sorry about that. It means that yes, you can in fact heal yourself, or you can heal a creature, you can heal whatever you like, as long as it's on your side of the board. 1-mana heal 2 is very, very strong in my opinion. And because of the neutral, that means that yes, now more decks in the game now have healing if they want it, and that's kind of cool. And then Ruthless Water Spout is 3 mana, destroy an enemy follower with 4 defense or less. So this one is also pretty strong to me, like, because it gives kind of like hard removal to, well, semi-hard removal to classes that did not have it. Like, for example, one of the jokes that I make all the time is that, like, rune decks that aren't spell-based rune or whatever, they have no way of getting rid of certain creatures at certain points of the game. Like, for example, Ginger Rune. Like, I'm sure you've seen many times where, like, oh, where your opponent just like plays where they play like a 3 HP unit, and you're just like, oh my god, I can't get rid of this. And it's even worse if the unit is like a problematic unit of some sort, like, for example, Mars. Well, now here you go. Here's an answer. Granted, this answer is a little bit delayed, but it's still an answer, I guess. Where do I see this being played? Well, because it's neutral, you can play it literally anywhere. However, decks that might end up playing this are possibly Dragon. If and when Dragon actually runs out of heals that they can play for cheap, well, you'll probably play this, and that'll be kind of cool. Let's see where else. Control Blood, possibly. We'll definitely probably want to. Well, we'll definitely consider playing this card. I don't want to say Sword because I don't really feel like this card does anything for Sword in particular. Haven definitely because of Tenko Shrine, and also just because this option is like really strong as well. Because like there's not many creatures like in the game that barring a pre-evolve are just like naturally above 4 HP. So this is basically like effectively it's like 3 mana, get rid of whatever you want that's on the board, as long as it's not like, say, like a 6 mana card or something like that. So like being able to like 3 mana to trade up to maybe a 5 mana card, it's pretty strong. But the fact that this card, it does not have like Rush, Storm, or anything like that, and it costs 4 mana, that does definitely detract from wanting to play the card, definitely. But in slower meta games, like you'll definitely consider playing this card in more things. But also the artwork is pretty fire, honestly. Now that like I'm looking at it closely. But yeah, I don't know. Not really sure how I feel about this card. Like I don't think I'll try it out myself, but I definitely know I saw some people like getting like excited for it. So I guess it will be like something that I guess I'll just like have to like watch friends tell me if it's like good or not, and just like go from there. But yeah, anyway, so that concludes like the card review. I know, like I said, I know this one was like a lot shorter because I only had to review like 7 cards for this, or not 7, 5 cards for this. I'm sorry, yeah, 5 cards for this, and then like I reviewed all the other ones earlier. But yeah, I don't know. Like the mini set for me, I didn't mind it because I enjoyed the idea of it. However, the application of it definitely could use some work, just because I did not like that that everything got like everything got like rarity bumped or whatever, because there are a lot of cards in here that like I could definitely see these just being golds and not being like legendaries, or some of these just, you know, outright being like silver cards and things like that, and that would have been perfectly fine. But that's I guess like that's like a topic for another day, and hopefully something that they fix in the future. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you thought about my card review overall. Like, this is going over, you know, all 3 parts. If you enjoyed it, if you want to see more, let me know. If you had any critiques, again, let me know. You can just like post them here, or you can like do it on Discord, you know, whatever, get at me. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.